All right, it's been a super long time since I've done one of these, but I felt like it was a good time since the sakura trees are kind of past full bloom, but they're still beautiful. I learned that once you start to see green on the sakura trees, that's when they're past full bloom. And we're next to a river too, so sound is probably not gonna be great, but I just wanted to talk about my experience here in Japan. It's been 3 months and a week, I think, at this point. And it's been a pretty crazy 3 months and a week. Each month feels very different. Ever since I moved share houses too, it feels extremely different. Like, to the point where it feels like a completely different experience. I'm probably gonna need to go down. I can't tell which will be louder, the cars or the river, but I don't like being near cars. Okay, so I've already talked about the first month, and then the second month, things started to get pretty busy, so it became harder and harder, especially towards the end, to keep up with like stuff like this, where I talk about my experience and whatnot. So condensing everything into one video is probably impossible, but I'll do my best to just give a summary. Okay, let's get on to the river real quick. So far things have been amazing. Actually, I should be back in the US already. That was my original plan, but because everything was just so incredible and amazing, I've decided to stay here for a longer period of time. And I definitely feel like I needed that, because just experiencing things with Japanese language school was a really great experience. But after it ended, and the weekdays were really up to me to plan, that's when things became like more chaotic, but also fun and more like free. And it feels different, I suppose. It's like you're more in control of your own life, and you're more like doing your own thing and choosing what to do with your time. And for me, I've been spending that time, like, for one, I had to go to Korea to reset my visa. I know some people talk about it in a very like worried way, in the sense that, oh, maybe it's very difficult to do, but it's actually not. Like, I just went to Korea for 3 days with my friends. Some really crazy stuff happened during the trip that I will not mention here, but it was fun overall, like a pretty memorable trip. Definitely one of the most fun and memorable trips, actually. But after 3 days, went back to Japan, reset the 90-day thing, no issues whatsoever. I have my return flight booked as well, so maybe that helped. Return flight to America, that is. So lots of factors that maybe made it easier, I suppose. But there was honestly nothing to worry about, because I was slightly worried because I've heard that it may not work. But yeah, everything went off without any issues. Oh, got hit by our sakura petal. But this is a really nice area. I guess one of the biggest questions is like, what have I been using or doing with my time? And most of it is honestly hanging out with the friends I've made in Japanese language school, hanging out with the friends I've made in the new share house, and practicing a lot of Japanese. I'd say yesterday, for once in my life, the first time in my life, I spoke more Japanese than I did English in the day. And to me, that was pretty awesome, because it's an indicator that what I'm doing, my efforts and all the practice I've done in language school and everything, they're like, it's paying off, and it's finally showing. I'm gonna just hold the camera here so my voice is easier to hear, and you just look at this sakura tree. But as I mentioned in the beginning, one of the inbuilt purposes of being here in Japan is to learn the language. Going to language school was a big part of it. So continuing to learn it is very important to me, because I don't want to, it's good to get the experience, and the experience itself is not a waste, but at the same time, the time and the money and the effort placed into learning the language shouldn't be wasted, in the sense that I should continue to practice it. So that's what I've been doing, and it's been really good. I think learning a language is really fun and teaches you a lot of different like things, not just the language itself, but like almost like a new way of thinking. It really like stimulates the brain. Hard to describe. It's like just trying to see from a different perspective almost. But that bit of it has been extremely fun, and the new share house also has been an incredible help. I think like without it, if I stayed in the old share house, my life would not be like the same at all. The new share house made such a huge difference, especially now that there are a few new people that came recently, like 2 weeks ago, where I primarily just speak with them in Japanese since neither of them know any English. So that's why I talked mostly in Japanese yesterday, is because I hung out with some of them. And yeah, there's a lot more updates as well. Certain updates are a bit more on the side of like, I don't want to talk about it in too much detail, but let's just say the closest people around me right now mostly speak Japanese, so it's been a lot easier to just practice it. So on that front, everything's going really well. I think I could have easily fallen off had I been in the old share house and just not practiced and just did other things. It's like having fun and being dedicated at the same time, because all you really need to do is continuously talk and keep trying and keep messing up, and as long as you have good friends who are willing to correct you, be patient with you, you'll learn it. So I look forward to making a few more videos where I showcase certain like conversations with my friends just in Japanese. I've done it only once so far, but I do want to do it a lot more before I leave. But Japan has been amazing, even without the language learning. Honestly, it's like just being here and seeing incredible stuff like this, where the sakura trees, the leaves are just falling, and I don't know, there's something so incredible about just being out here. And the life I've been living for the past 3 months, it's like a dream. It's like something that I felt like I really needed in my life. It's changed like how I think. It's changed me in general, and I don't want it to end, to be honest, but there's a lot of things I still need to do at home back in California. I definitely have become way more disorganized here, like not as organized. I do a lot of spontaneous things with my friends. I haven't been keeping up with my videos or my journals, actually. I just caught up with my journals, had to write for about 2 to 3 weeks. It took about 2 to 3 hours. So yeah, that's something that I feel has been very different in me. It's just like living life in a way where it's a bit more go with the flow, still being dedicated to like learning, but also just being a bit more stress-free and just enjoying it, being in nature, being in wherever you are, and connecting with the people around you. I can't stress that enough. It's just like the environment and the people around you just makes a huge difference. But I'll probably talk more about all of those things in future videos. I want to do more specific content, like stories and everything like that, from my time here. But I have this dilemma where I don't want to reveal too much private stuff. I've talked about it before, but I'll find a way to somehow express it, because I do think there's a lot of stories worth telling, or at least a lot of lessons from the stories that I want to highlight. It really feels like life is like different. Like there's just so much more to it, and so much more that I've learned. It almost feels as if like the stuff I created before for my YouTube channel, Dreamlit, like where I talk about ideas and ways of thinking and all that stuff, it feels like a lie, like all of it from before. Obviously, it's the way I thought back then, but when you really experience like new things in life, like really, really good things, really, really bad things, it just changes so much about how you think, to the point where it's like you're surprised. I'm surprised that 5 years ago, like, I thought that way. And those videos that I made, I feel like I could remake them in a much, much better way, and just the things that I've said, things that I've tried to teach in terms of the way of thinking. It's all new, it's all different now. That's just cool. I can't really see it that well on the camera, but there's just a lot of cherry blossom leaves falling. For the time being though, my plan is simply just to enjoy my time here. I'm gonna be here for about another month or so, totaling 4 months and a half. So that's the goal, just to enjoy and also learn as much Japanese as possible. And I feel like thanks to my environment, thanks to the people around me, that is gonna be already just like something I do naturally. It's like I don't have to force myself to do it. And I think that's the best type of learning. It's just you're having fun and you're enjoying life. But there's still a lot of room for me to put more effort into it and growth. More room for growth, of course. So let's try to work even harder and bring a little bit of myself from the past back. Me who's more organized, me who is, I think that's mostly it, me who's more organized. That's a part of me that's really, really different here. My organization here is just really, really bad. Okay, I think that's it for now. There's gonna be more to come, I'm sure. But for the time being, I'm happy with having just given a small update after a long time. Okay, catch you guys in the next one.